Minute is rated R. The Rocky Horror Picture Show is also rated R. We're going to spend this time discussing the movie in gory detail, and along the road we will talk about some adult content and use some of our favorite swear words.
Sawadi never.
Consider yourselves warned.
Welcome to Rocky Horror Minute, the podcast where we discuss the Rocky Horror Picture Show in excruciating detail 1 minute at a time. It is the final countdown. I'm one of your hosts, Kelly.
And I'm your other host, Leandra.
It really is.
Yeah. I'm starting to get a little bit emotional, but only a little bit, because we've got something else planned after this.
Yes.
What is it?
It is a marriage.
Yay! Wait. Yay! That wasn't what I was thinking of, but yay!
But also, shock treatment minute.
Woohoo! It's gonna be so good.
True. It is.
We could really just stop now and go right into shock treatment if we wanted to.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So, we're on minute 0 of...
shock treatment.
That's how that works.
Alright. Enough silliness.
Yeah, too much silliness.
Yeah, no fucking silliness in our Rocky Horror Picture Show minute by minute podcast.
No, that would be too silly. To have silliness.
Yeah, exactly. Silliness, I'm always saying this, silliness is silly, so.
Oh my god, that is so profound.
I know. So instead, let's just have a really normal and serious recap of minute 97.
Of minute 97? Okay. Angelic music continues. We see Dr. Scott still lying uncomfortably on his busted wheelchair, his arms outstretched. There's a fluffy cloud filter that screens over the shot, and then the camera zooms out and we see Brad and Janet crawling, circling about 5 feet away from Dr. Scott. Brad begins on his back, crawling up, and then rolls over to his stomach, and Janet is on her stomach, kind of army crawling like she's lost the use of her legs. The view slowly begins to spin counterclockwise while zooming further out and speeding up. The music swells. The view fades and is replaced with a globe spinning clockwise. We're back in the criminologist's office. The criminologist, standing with his book, The Denton Affair, under his right arm, stops the spinning globe with his left hand. While looking sadly at the globe, the criminologist says, "And crawling." He removes his hand from the globe, still looking directly at it, and continues, "On the planet's face." He looks at the camera, a half-knowing smirk on his face. "Some insects," he continues, "called the human race." He then adds, "lost in time and lost in space." And then, beginning to turn, he says, "and meaning," and he turns away. He turns off the light to the office, and the globe remains illuminated. He walks through the door, and a disembodied chorus sings, "mean." But we don't know for sure what they say. They could be calling him like a meanie or something. That's just the end of the minute.
A blue meanie.
Yeah.
Oh, when are we going to do Yellow Submarine Minute?
That is on the list?
Yes.
Yeah.
After almost every other movie in existence.
Yes. So, first off, if you have no idea where the song Superheroes came from, this was not in your version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show that you saw, and you're like watching this on Amazon Prime or like Hulu or wherever the fuck it is these days, this minute is more or less where the US version picks back up. So, welcome back.
Yeah. As we discussed, Richard O'Brien hates that, and he said he didn't really have much of a say, because Patricia Crum was like, "Oh, didn't you get a say?" And he was like, "No, not really. My voice wasn't any more important than anyone else's," which I think is probably not quite true. I mean, I would think that the author of the stage show, I think they would have given some weight to his ideas, but maybe not. Either way, I do think I think Superheroes enriches the movie, but I also, well, I don't understand why they cut it. I agree with him that it doesn't make a ton of sense if you just cut right to Crim's verse out of nowhere. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the castle takes off, and then this guy is like, and crawling on the planet's face, and you're like, wait, what? You know?
Why is he speaking in rhyming couplets?
Exactly. Like we've seen him so many times, and this is the first time he's speaking in rhyme. I am glad we got to hear Superheroes. This is probably a good time to wrap up the song before we go into discussion of the minute.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Before we do, I want to share a previously promised clip from Richard O'Brien and Patricia Quinn, in which specifically Richard O'Brien talks about how he wrote the song and what it was based on.
I wrote this song in 1970 or 71. I was in Nottingham. I was doing hair. And we were on tour with the show, and I wrote this song, and I had no idea. I remember I went to see Arturo Ui.
Oh, I was meant to be in that.
And
with Simon Caddo.
Well, no,
on we go.
Leonard Rossiter. Leonard Rossiter.
Yep.
And I went to see Leonard Rossiter on a wet Wednesday afternoon at the Savile Theatre, and there was about 100 people in a theatre designed to take 2,000 people.
Yes.
And he played it as if it was first night, opening night.
How divine.
And showed us the way that it works, and the way you are here today, I will perform for you. And he did that last segment of that show, that closing speech, so beautifully and so brilliantly that I wrote that song off that speech. You got to watch out for fascism because the bitch is living still. And that entire song was written off that premise, written off that speech.
That's amazing. I had no idea.
I know. And I was shocked that there was so much lore. I mean, God, I wish he had given this much background for all the songs because it was fascinating to me. Are you familiar with Arturo Ui, which I know he was kind of like Arturo Ui, and I was like, what? I had to go back. Thank God I had subtitles for the commentary on my copy of the file because I had no idea what he was saying and Google wasn't helping. But it is Arturo Ui.
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
It's called The Resistible Rise of Arturo Ui. It is a parable play from 1941 by the German playwright Bertolt Brecht. And it's about Arturo Ui, who is a fictional, obviously, Chicago mobster in the 1930s. And it's about his rise to power. It's a farce and a satirical comedy. So he's controlling the cauliflower racket by disposing of the competition. So basically Arturo Ui is a representation of Hitler, and his mobsters are the Nazi party. So basically, and it came out in 1941, so I was like, good Lord, that is bold for a German to write this in 1941. Turns out he fled the country before publishing it because
that makes sense.
He had previously written poems about Hitler, which were not well received by the government. So yeah, but there you go. Very interesting. I'm not familiar with the play, but so that speech that he was talking about at the end, I looked that up, and it is very beautiful. I'm going to recite it now, but not a professional actor or anything. Give me a little grace.
So, is this going to be better than when you did the dramatic reading of that song from Rocky Horror Shows His Heels?
Well, nothing could ever be better than that, but
I mean,
it is
less erotic. Sorry. That's what I meant.
Yeah, it will be less erotic, although spoiler alert, it does have a sexual reference in it, technically. So, here it is. If we could learn to look instead of gawking, we'd see the horror in the heart of farce. If only we could act instead of talking, we wouldn't always end up on our arse. This was the thing that nearly had us mastered. Don't yet rejoice in his defeat, you men. Although the world stood up and stopped the bastard, the bitch that bore him is in heat again. So, I don't know about you. When Richard O'Brien was talking about it, I was like, did he just, like, completely rip off a section of that play for this song? Reading it, I was like, oh no, it's not at all. It's spiritually similar, but it's not like he ripped off the language or even the imagery. But I guess that's what Superheroes is about. Basically, the fact that the threat of fascism is always lurking and ready to be begat again. Dark.
Yeah.
And unfortunately relevant once more. And I actually thought it was interesting reading, because it said, we'd see the horror in the heart of farce. So basically the play was a farce, but it's pointing out that it's referencing horrific real life events, and I was like, oh god, this is too real right now. But
I mean, it's a
but
good but it's still
It is, yeah. I never would have known. That's the beauty of doing a granular podcast like this. You learn truly amazing connections. But there you go. Yeah, Arturo Ui. Check it out, I guess, if it's playing near you. It was on Broadway a couple of times. Christopher Plummer played it in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
The original Broadway production. He played the titular Arturo Ui. But very, very interesting. It's just crazy to me that it came out, like, in the middle of World War II.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess that's sort of like what MASH did. But anyway, that is my background for the song, in case it affects your rating at all. And on that note, how do you rate Superheroes?
Superheroes. Okay, so let's do this one out of 5. No, wait.
Okay.
Out of 10.
Well,
which one do you want?
let's do 5. Just this once.
Just this once?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is complicated because on the one hand, that does add a lot to my enjoyment of it, and I did already enjoy the musicality of the song itself. But on the other hand, it don't make no fucking sense.
It doesn't.
So I feel like I have to average those out and give it like... So on musicality, I'd give it like a 4, maybe 4.5, but on making no sense, it really suffers. And yeah, I think it's like probably a 2.5.
Yeah. I'm giving it a 3, mostly because I do like the vibes and the way it sounds. But I will say, I have never and probably shall never just listen to this song on its own outside of the context of the movie. It's not really that, it's not like a bop you could turn on in your car or anything, or even like a ballad that you could turn on separately. It's kind of short, and the lyrics, while evocative, as you said, are nonsense. And the meaning, while very profound, is deeply obscured, I would say.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm giving it a 3, but with love.
Okay. I mean, my 2.5, it's still a 2.5, but maybe it's a 2.5 plus. We can call it that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. So, now that that's out of the way.
Yeah. So, many years ago, and this is just one of the random perks of being on the Rocky cast in a major city. Sometimes there's a Rocky related event and they're like, we need somebody from the local cast to add legitimacy to this Rocky event. And this was a professional theater company called the Washington Savoyards. They were doing a production, and their gimmick was they were going to have local celebrities be the criminologist. And
Oh.
they approached us, and I was one of their celebrity criminologists.
Oh.
And for this last bit, they were like, yeah, so just say the lines, and there's some like music under it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm familiar. So I was going to practice it with them, but they're like, no, it's fine. Just like say whatever you want. And then because I was pausing kind of in the similar way that Charles Gray does, I could tell that the accompanist was just like kind of irritated that I was dragging this out. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I only know one way to do this if we're not going to practice it. But it was still fun.
Yeah, you can't have it both ways, but
You can't always get what you want.
you can't. But if you try sometimes,
You just
you
might
might just
find you get what you need.
So good. I bet we won't hear that again
No, probably not.
during this episode.
Yeah.
I love the aerial shot. I think it's so beautiful. And I think there's a certain something with the way that they're crawling in circles around Scott, you know. I feel like it tells a story, and it's also just beautiful. Richard O'Brien informed us that on the commentary, I should say, he didn't call us up, but he said it was filmed from exactly the same place as the shot of Tim in the pool. His words. He's on a first name basis with Tim Curry, but that makes sense. Of course, they already had a camera way up there, like mounted to do an aerial shot. It makes sense that they would do this as well. But my dumbass was like, "Oh yeah, I guess they would have filmed this indoors."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. Didn't think about it, but obviously they did. So.
Because it is fog machines. And yeah. Yeah.
Fog machines and backdrop. There's no reason to film it outside. But I just never thought about it. But anyway, there's a fun little tidbit. And also, he also said that the spin of that shot turning into the globe was a Jim Sharman touch.
Okay.
And I say kudos to Jim Sharman. It's great.
So I only have one more note.
Okay.
And it is when the criminologist stops the globe, I think that it would be easy to think that he is stopping specifically on the US, but what was actually going on is they wanted to stop so that Australia was in the front of the shot, because that was a nod to Brian Thompson, beloved set designer and an Aussie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. That's awesome. Where'd you learn that?
From Mark Jabara.
Oh. Well, shout out to Mark. That is really fascinating. Yeah. And we love Brian Thompson, and he's not dead.
He's not dead. He wasn't dead to begin with. We need to stop making that joke. I can only make it like 3 more times.
I mean, we haven't stopped saying Cowboy Wearing Day, so I don't know why we'd stop saying that. But anyway, speaking of the criminologist, this is our final crim break.
It's true.
And I have just a few things to say. First of all, just on the topic of the criminologist, and because this is the first time we've seen him since this happened. Leandra and I recently saw a performance of Formal Dress Optional, which is a Rocky cast in Wilmington, friends of the show and friends of us. And they were wonderful, and their best performer, I have to say, was the criminologist who was a dog, Leandra.
Literally a dog. And yeah, it was...
He was a guide dog in training.
There were so many very, very talented performers. This is not like everybody sucked so bad and the only thing that we liked was this fucking dog. No.
No. I just really love dogs, and he was so cute and sweet.
He was the goodest
They
boy.
were all wonderful. Yeah, he was a guide dog in training. I believe they said he was in training, and his handler helped him out. If you remember the old... Shoot, what was the name of that guy who used to do those Weimaraner photos?
Oh, yeah.
William Wegman. I loved him as a kid.
Yeah.
Obviously, because he took photos of dogs. But so, yeah, it was sort of that sort of thing where she stood behind the dog and did like the hand gestures and everything. He was so damn cute and very sweet and just such a good boy and doing his job so well, very quiet. So that was awesome.
He did have a costume change, too.
He did have a costume change. He did it beautifully. He did not have a neck. So.
But the costume change was he wasn't just the criminologist, he was also a hot dog.
I forgot about that. Oh my god, he's so cute. And he got
was
to
so
eat.
good.
He got to join for dinner as well. They fed him popcorn on stage. It was so cute. Anyway, so I loved that. I think I would love to see an all-dog Rocky cast, so if someone could get on that, that'd be great.
This is like dogs playing poker.
Oh my god, it is! And see what a cultural phenomenon that turned out to be for some reason, so why not
It's
dogs
true.
playing Rocky?
Yeah.
You may remember just a few short minutes ago in minute 92, we had a little confusion because Brad said, good God, or yeah, he said, good God, Janet said, you killed them, and then we weren't sure if it was my God because of the callback. Well, I went back and checked, and it was good God. So I guess I was right all along.
You sure were.
A feeling I'm used to.
Yeah. It must be difficult having big tits and being right.
It is. Yeah. They both weigh on me so heavily. But beloved cast member and friend of the show, Petra, had a couple of notes she wrote in with. One is that she and also friend of the show and friend of us and fellow cast member Brian noticed that at least Brad and Janet have painted nails in the floor show, which I had noticed Janet, I never noticed Brad, but we definitely didn't talk about it on the show, so that's interesting. Brad's are red and Janet's look like they're black, but I would have to... the way colors don't, in that scene especially, aren't super accurate, so if I'm wrong about that and some behind-the-scenes photo disproves me, let me know. But there was that. And then Petra also said this callback that we forgot when Scott says perhaps it was for the best. Again, Brian always says, you fucking ate him, which I don't know if it's a real callback, but I am very used to Brian saying it, and it is very cute.
Yeah.
So there you go. And then we also had friend and former guest Sean German reach out to say that we forgot when he says to oblivion, hello to oblivion. It's, what's the callback, Leandra? It's the Oblivion Newton-John one.
Oh, I'm honestly not sure. On and say hello to oblivion, you can go, oh, hi, it's Oblivion Newton-John, right? That is, I believe, where that goes. Sean, let us know.
Yeah. I mean, what he wrote was just, hello, Oblivion Newton-John. So, yeah, something along those lines. I've never heard that one, but I get it. Because
I like it.
Oblivion sounds like Olivia. And that's the second time in as many minutes that we've mentioned her.
That's true.
Speaking of callbacks.
Yes. What do you have?
Just a couple. This is not really a callback, but I wasn't sure where else to mention it, but when the screen starts to spin, many performers of Brad or Janet, and myself included, like to walk up and like physically act like they're spinning the screen with their hands.
Yeah.
And it's cute and fun. The audience likes it. And you're done performing, so why not? Then we have... with the globe, there's a few ones you can do. The two that immediately pop into mind for me when he hits the globe with his finger to stop it. Oh my god, you killed Kenya. God, I hope that... well, I guess South Park's still airing, isn't it? I was about to say, God, I hope that one isn't obsolete already, but I guess South Park's still airing and presumably still doing that running joke, so I don't know. Haven't watched it since I was in high school. But... so there's that, and then another option, get your finger out of Colombia. Do you know any others, Leandra, for that particularly?
Yeah, so specifically for that bit, you can go get your finger out of my cunt tree and
yeah.
at least put it in grease first.
Yeah, that's good. And then my favorite for this minute, one that always makes me laugh, when you say, why is your phone bill so high? Right before he says, called the human race. It's so stupid. I love it. And then when he walks out, but the globe is still illuminated, you can say, you left your globe on. What about global warming? Sad, somber, somber reminder of something real, but a funny joke.
Fascism, global warming.
I know. It's a dark minute, but we're out here fiddling, I guess, while the ship goes down.
Yeah.
What you got?
All right. So I said last minute that we are going to set up a callback, and it's the one that we discussed that's the you can't always get what you want, and you just keep singing that, and then the choral arrangement changes, and it feels right, it sounds right to conclude that with the but if you try sometime you just might find you get what you need. So that one's nice. You can, when the globe stops, you can go, stop the world, I want to get off, which is a reference to a 1961 musical that was later a 1966 musical movie. You can also, while the globe is still spinning, go, wheel of morality, turn, 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 and tell us the lesson we should learn, which is a callback to the Animaniacs. So it's a fun one for, I guess, 90s kids.
I love the Animaniacs.
It's true. There are several things that you can say regarding the globe. Like, I've been to Australia and I can confirm it's not actually purple. Or, why is Australia purple? You'd be purple too if you'd been down under that long. Or,
Oh, man.
for I've been to Australia and I can confirm it's not actually purple. A callback to that callback is, but China's actually red.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah. You can go, where's the planet's nose? And then Crim says, on the planet's face.
Stupid.
What'd you have for breakfast? Some insects. You can say, where's your neck? He says, lost in time. What's your favorite sci-fi show? And Lost in Space. What does this movie lack? And meaning. Once more for the virgins. Mean. And hypothetically, it's going to wrap up the next minute.
I wish we knew, but there's no way to know.
Yeah.
Until next time.
But now,
So now,
you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, so get the fuck out!
To the late night double feature picture show.
Fun fact, I like the Beatles a healthy amount. I'm not like a Beatles super fan, but I've always really, really, really liked the art from that album, that movie, etc. And I really wanted a copy of it. I actually have, like, I've bought, like, many objects, like, memorabilia from it, but I wanted a copy of the actual movie to watch. And this was when I was in high school. I could never find it. And in college, I finally eventually, like, found a website where I could buy it on DVD. And so I did, and it turned out to be, like, I'm pretty sure, like, a Russian mob website. And they sent me, I think I still have it somewhere, a DVD that was, like, so ridiculously bootleg. And they had made a DVD, like, sleeve for it to go in the case that was like printed on a laser printer that was almost out of ink, so it's all washed out.
That's amazing.
It was. I truly cannot believe they actually sent me a DVD. Like, once I realized what the website was and how sketchy it was, I was like, oh, I'm never seeing that $15 again. But I got the DVD, so
I I tried to get an ex-girlfriend a box set of the show Lost, but like specifically season 3, and instead like I went on eBay and clearly also got some scammer because what arrived was not Lost at all. It was like a printed out, like, this was long before AI, but it had that kind of like uncanny valley
That's so
thing.
funny.
And yeah, there was no DVD in the box. It was pretty great. I
Yeah.
I spent more
So
than
you see,
$15 on it, so I was upset.
did you buy it with a credit card? Were you able to like charge it back?
Oh, I have no recollection of what I did with this information. That
Because
was long
I at
ago.
that at the time I bought the Yellow Submarine, I didn't even have a credit card. Like, I was fresh out of high school. It was my freshman year of college, so I just had like a bank account and a debit card. So I would have had really no recourse if they had decided to not send me anything.
Yeah, my guess is that it was a bank card, but
Yeah.
I can't remember what I did with this information or if I just was like, well, oh well. Either's possible. I made some weird choices back then and
Not
later.
just back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of bad choices. Not this though.
No, this is a great choice.
Yeah. I'm just a stupid bitch.